Hey everybody, my name is Caitlin and I'm the wonderful Wiccan here on YouTube and the Witch of Whispering Oaks. Today I'll bring you a top 5 list of haunted locations, and we'll be jumping here, there, and everywhere today. So let's begin. So number 5 is Mary King's Close. This was a street in Edinburgh, Scotland, that was hit really hard by the Black Death. And here is why Mary King's Close is famous today. A group of Japanese tourists, a paranormal research team, was visiting Mary King's Close. They came to a certain room, and the medium felt a presence and saw a little girl ghost. The little girl said her name was Annie, and she was looking for her doll. So apparently Annie had been left by her parents during the Black Death, and she was looking for a doll, like the ghost said. So the medium went to a nearby gift shop, bought a Barbie with wearing a tartan skirt, and left it for the girl. And in Japanese religion, they honor their ancestors, whether it be yours or somebody else's. So they were helping. They believed they were helping the little girl find peace. And to this day, it is tradition to leave a toy, some candy, and some money for Annie. And what the people that run the tour for Mary King's Close do with the money that is left behind is they donate it to a charity, and so, which I think is a good thing. So that is that. I mean, it is a sad story, but at least they're trying to keep the little girl's spirit happy. Number 4 is Toad Road Asylum and the 7 Gates to Hell. Now, this is the one I could not find a picture for because people will not acknowledge it. So it is located in the township of Hellam, Hellam, York County in Pennsylvania. The real road name is Trout Run Road. The more sinister name is Toad Run. So the story behind it is it was an insane asylum that caught on fire, and because it was so far out, the fire department was not able to get to it, which caused some of the inmates to die and some of them to escape. And the townspeople were encouraged to round them up, and however, they killed some of them. And the story behind the 7 Gates is a doctor decided to make it harder for the inmates to escape by putting 7 gates to the entrance of the asylum. And nobody will talk about it because of the horror behind it. And nobody will tell you where the gates are. The legend is, if you manage to get past Gate 5, you will never come out. And another thing is, with every gate you get past, the incidents, the supernatural occurrences get worse. So enter at your own risk. And they say if you get past Gate 7, you will find the entrance to hell. Number 3 is the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. So in 1910, it was originally opened as a TB sanatorium hospital. However, in 1961, 51 years later, it was shut down as a hospital because the antibiotic treatment for TB came out. And that lowered the need for the hospital, therefore it was shut down. In 1962, it was reopened as a geriatric hospital, but it was closed by the state in 1980 due to the fact that it was overcrowded and it was facing allegations of abuse. However, the exact number of deaths are not known. There is one certain area of the hospital that experiences them. Well, there's technically two. I'm sorry. There's two areas that experience the most occurrences of haunting. One is the body chute. So what the body chute is what it sounds like. It's a ramp that they would slide bodies down to get them out of the hospital without patients seeing them. It was located near the outsides of the morgue. Another area that experiences the most hauntings is the door frame of the room where a nurse committed suicide. She was pregnant and found out she had TB, so she took her life. And she continues to haunt that area to this day. And now I'm going to move on to number 2. This one, we're going to go back over to Edinburgh, because it is the most haunted city in Scotland. So we are going to go to Greyfriars Courtyard. Courtyard is just another name for churchyard or cemetery. And this one has quite a bit of history behind it. Because it was a prison and a graveyard. You can't really ask for many more ingredients to be a haunted location. So it is located on the southern edge of Old Town in Edinburgh. And it is a cemetery, but it was also a prison for the Presbyterian Covenanters. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Oh well. So there's a dog there that they don't know the exact location of where it was buried, but it's named Greyfriars Bobby. Bobby was a loyal dog, man's best friend, of course, that protected his master's grave until the end of his life. That is definitely a best friend if I've known any. And in 1981, the Dog Aid Society erected a statue where they think he was buried. Of course, the dog would not have been buried in the churchyard because it was not human. So, sad but true. There is one ghost that is reported to haunt there, because he is responsible for many deaths that happened. His name is Sir George Bloody Mackenzie. So he lived between 1636 and 1691, so that would put him about 55 years old at death. And he believed judicial torture was legal, and that's how he got some of his confessions. And the reason why he got his name Bloody was because he imprisoned 1,200 Presbyterian Covenanters. A number of deaths occurred there, including executions and the maltreatment. Therefore, he got that name. And he is buried there in his tomb, and his tomb is said to be haunted by his spirit. The one spirit that everybody knows there, and has experienced at least some form of activity if they frequent there enough, is a spirit. It could be a demonic presence, or it could be the angry spirit of Sir George Bloody Mackenzie. So this spirit has been known to attack people. There is one reputed incident where a woman went into Greyfriars by herself, came out screaming, and she had claw marks on her back, and she had to be rushed to the hospital. Her shirt was not torn. So it was a spiritual attack. Which is kind of scary, but I really do want to go to Edinburgh one day. I don't know. Maybe after this COVID thing is over. If it's ever over. So number 1, I don't even need my notes for. We're going to go back down south in the U.S. to Adams, Tennessee, home of the famous Bell Witch. Now the story behind the Bell Witch is that Mr. John Bell had cheated his neighbor, Miss Kate Batts, out of land, a large piece of land. And she was mad. And as Shakespeare said, hell hath no fury as that of a woman scorned. I might not be using the right context, but Don't make a woman mad. Um, and she swore that she would haunt him to his death. And that is what happened shortly after her death. A spirit, uh, a spirit began haunting them, including the youngest of Mr. Bell's children, Betsy. And he is, and he was actually poisoned by the Bell Witch. And the witch continued to haunt the family for a number of years. And in fact, she was so famous that a president, General Jackson, or Andrew Jackson, came to visit because he was a believer. And to this day, the cave is said to be haunted. But the Bell Witch hasn't made her final appearance as she has promised. There is a movie that one of the stars, Donald Sutherland, if you don't remember, played President Snow in The Hunger Games, and also played Hawkeye Pierce in the MASH movie, and Merrick the Watcher in the 1990s Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. Played in this, that talked about the Bell Witch, called An American Haunting. That is today's list. I hope y'all enjoyed it and got some spooks and thrills, and maybe want to come visit us here in Tennessee. I am Caitlin, the Witch of Whispering Oaks. Everybody have a great day. Blessed be. Bye.